Time to get tactical. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I introduce you to the Ruger LC9S, a recoil-operated, locked-breech, striker-fired semi-automatic pistol. The LC9S stands for lightweight, compact, 9mm striker-fired. Very creative on Ruger's part. This gun comes in at around 17.1 ounces, so just over a pound, a length of approximately 6 inches, and a height of 4.5. So this is a pretty small gun. I'll put my hand up here just so you can see. In comparison, I could cover the whole pistol with my hand very, very easily. Makes this thing very easy to manipulate. It comes standard with a single stack removable magazine with a capacity of 7+1, meaning that you can have 7 in the magazine. That's what it's going to come with, and +1 in the chamber. And I'll show you what that magazine looks like. You can see that this is empty, but obviously it's a single stack magazine. I'll go ahead and put that in for you so you can see what that kind of looks like. So it fits in the hand like that. So that's pretty standard. So if you're, from a lesser state such as California Stan or Colorado, you can legally own these firearms because they don't exceed the magazine capacity that's allowed by states that are absolute garbage. So good on that. You can ship these anywhere. Ruger also manufactures a 9-round magazine, and what it does is it gives you not only 2 more to put into your personal carry firearm, but it also extends the grip down a little bit more, which for folks like myself, because I have a bit of a wide hand, this is very useful if you get the 9-round magazine by Ruger. Pro Mag also makes a 10-round magazine, and I'll cover that a little bit later. I'll show you some how that looks and how that fits in the hand later on here. But the 9-round magazine is the way to go, not only because of the capacity, but also because of the benefits of the added grip that you're going to get. So it'll add a little bit down here to give you more to hold on to down here at the outside of your hand, which for me is very useful. This model probably looks pretty familiar if you've ever seen the LCP. That was basically what this was based on, except they decided, hey, let's get rid of that 380 because that's pretty much useless, and we're going to produce something in 9mm that's compact. Around 2011, Ruger released the LC9, and as you know, that's different than what we're looking at today, because in front of us is the LC9S. Now, the LC9, they manufactured essentially just to put a 9mm that was compact out in the market to provide some competition to some of the other manufacturers who had already been moving in that direction, such as Glock and a few others that I can name off the top of my head, but I'm trying to keep this brief. So the LC9 had a few major flaws, so they had to get back to the drawing board. Now, the flaws that you would see if you own an LC9, you'll know about this. There is the primary issues. There's 3 big ones that I can think of off the top of my head. The loaded chamber indicator up here, which essentially when you chamber it around, it had this little notch that would come up, which kind of makes it impractical for personal carry, and instead they got away from that, and now they just have like an open chamber here where you can look in and visibly see when there's a round. And in my opinion, that's a better option, because if you have this in a holster, you won't have to worry about that loaded chamber indicator getting in your way at all. So that was a problem. The other issue was the hammer, and again, that goes to a personal carry kind of aspect, where when you have this in like a holster, it could be problematic when you're doing drills or anything like that, or if you need to get it out on a jump, you don't want to have to work around that hammer or worry about it. And the biggest issue of all is going to be the trigger. Now, the trigger pull on the LC9 was dramatic and long and very, very stiff. And after, I guess, so from 2011 when the LC9 was produced to 2014, Ruger was at the drawing board listening to the complaints of the people. And they ended up coming out with the final form that you see in front of you today. And it is, in my opinion, pretty damn decent. Now, the LC9S, it's going to feature these traditional 3-dot sights, which is perfect for close range use, which this is pretty much exactly what you're going to end up doing. It's pretty adequate for close range. Like I said, easily concealable, and the trigger pull is at around 5.2 pounds. So that may sound like a lot. Empty, just so I can show you folks what the trigger kind of feels like. Not bad. And honestly, to me, it makes sense on a firearm this size. So there it goes. So I'm gonna that's as much as I'm gonna cover as far as Ruger's production on this. They do have other models. They have the LC9S Pro, which does not feature a external safety, but you can see this one does. So here's your safety, and yeah, the LC9S Pro does not have that. So I guess professionals just have no desire to, honestly, your only safety truly is your trigger finger. My personal experience with this, I'm going to get into that a bit. I obviously have 2 of them. It was a gun so nice that we bought it twice. So I had one initially and loved to shoot it. Both of these probably have several thousand rounds through them. I would say at least 3 out of each one. So we've shot these quite a bit. Now, in my personal experience as a right-handed shooter, and with relatively wide hands, when I pick this up, you can see that my hand kind of hangs out over the grip. You see what I mean? So the 9-round magazine is going to come down to here, and it's going to feel almost like a full-size pistol. And honestly, I found if you're holding this the wrong way when shooting, what you're going to end up finding is that if you're right-handed, you're going to be shooting low and to the right. Now, there's issues that you need to take into account to fix that, which I found out the hard way on my own. But essentially, tighten up your grip. Make sure that your grip is right and that you're not using your trigger finger to manipulate the pistol at all, rather than just to pull the trigger, because that's all it's there for. And you should not be using anything else but your grip to maintain stability while shooting. So anyway, the 9-round magazine is going to get rid of this issue for folks like me who have wide hands. Now, Pro Mag makes this a 10-round magazine. And honestly, pretty much everything Pro Mag makes, in my opinion, has always been trash, aside from 1 or 2 items. They have a couple that I've mentioned before and other practical uses. But let me show you what these 2 look like side by side with that. So you can see how that might be beneficial to someone, again, with wider hands, because if you pick that up, you're not hanging off, and it feels right in the hand. But the issue with this is if you're not gripping it high and you end up discharging the firearm, then what you're going to find is that this recoil kind of allows if you're not gripping it right up here and you're gripping it too hard down here, you're going to find that you're doing a number where it just kind of rocks. Essentially, you're going to end up accidentally bump firing this pistol, which I can say I have personal experience with. So, real quick, I'll show you how to disassemble this pistol. It's going to be very simple. You can see that we have this little tab here. You're going to just push that down, and there's that pin right here that you could see. So that pin needs to come out, and what you need to do is pull the slide back ever so much and tap that out. See? And you might not have any lubricant on your pin, but what you'll want to do if it's giving you a difficult time, you can either just smack it, or on this side you'll see there's this hole, and if you pull that back ever so much, you can push it out with a small punch. Now, once that's out, you're going to make sure that it's empty. Obviously, we've done that before, but I'm going to do that again. And then once you've ensured that your firearm is empty, what you want to do is push forward with your thumb on the slide and pull the trigger. So, see that? And it just kind of comes loose. Now your slide lock is going to stop it from coming off completely, so what you're going to do is push that down, pull that forward, and then there you have your frame. Right? And then very similar to how a Glock would disassemble, actually identical to how a Glock would disassemble, very simply, you just remove your recoil spring and guide rod. Your barrel's going to push forward and out like that. And this is as far as you're going to need to disassemble this for cleaning. I have personally made the mistake of disassembling the slide much further than I should have. And yeah, I ended up at the gunsmith. So don't be dumb like me. What you want to do is get it to this point, clean this out real well, make sure that your barrel's clean and everything else. Brush out your slide and you're good to go. Now, if you can imagine, reassembly is going to be just as easy as what I've just shown you. So you're going to start off, take your slide, put your barrel through the port, or the hole here, push that into place, turn this upside down. Recoil spring and guide rod are going to slip in here, and this little plate is going to latch on the front here, just like that there, just like that. And then, simple as it gets, push this back over your rails here, and make sure you push that down so it can make it all the way in. You're going to pull that back down. You're going to pull your slide back just ever so slightly and return your pin. So I'll do that. I don't know if you can see this, but yeah, you hear what I'm doing. And then what you want to make sure you do is push this guy back up, because otherwise you'll start locking up and it'll get strange. Now again, my personal experience with these, they've been very reliable. They make for perfect guns. My fiance's hands are a lot thinner and more narrow than mine are, so they fit in her hands very well, and she can shoot literally anything with them. It is very impressive. So my personal experience has been nothing but good. Nothing bad to say about these guns, honestly. And as you could see by the quality of most of my videos, I'm obviously not sponsored by Ruger, but I do believe they're worth buying. I highly recommend them. They work as a great backup gun. What I will recommend is that you don't use steel case ammo. I have only had a single failure to feed, and that was while shooting steel case ammo out of these. So that's all I got for you. Sorry I couldn't keep it any briefer than I normally do. And thanks for your time, and as always, God bless Texas.